Hi, this is Nick with Jacob's Vocal Academy, back for another lesson. Today we're going to be talking about voice parts. More specifically, I want to talk about what are voice parts and how much do they really matter, their roots, where they come from, and why we've used them and why you may or may not need them now. So first off, what are the voice parts? You've probably heard of them before. From highest to lowest, you've heard soprano, maybe mezzo-soprano, and altos, and then for the men, you've heard of tenors, baritones, and basses. Generally, these different names suggest the thickness of the vocal folds, the thinnest, lightest folds being the sopranos, the highest voices, and the thickest, heaviest being the basses, the lowest voices. This classification system finds its roots in opera, where not only are the voices divided into the more commonly known parts, but are also divided more specifically into what are known as fachs. So for a tenor, for example, you could be a lyric tenor or a dramatic tenor, or even something as drastically different as a countertenor, which is a sort of falsettist range. Sopranos could be lyric or soubrette, or the flashy, very quick and agile coloratura. Baritones can be dramatic or lyric as well. They could be a lower bass baritone, or even go as low as the true bass or bass buffo. It's worth noting here, particularly for the young classical singers listening, that you may not and likely won't know your fach for quite some time, and even then you may not fit very specifically into one fach or another. I would recommend that you simply try to sing in the most comfortable, helpful way possible. This voice classification system also serves a large purpose to the contemporary singer in that it can give a beginning singer a great starting point to begin understanding their instrument, their unique voice. For contemporary singers, that is about as far as the usefulness of the voice classification system goes. Largely, it's up to the contemporary singer to find his or her own unique voice in the most healthful way they can, and the way that they believe they can sustain as indefinitely as possible while giving a great performance. There shouldn't be a manipulation of the tone or a manipulation of the range in any unhealthful way, but instead the singer should just allow their unique instrument to be presented in their performance. So if you are a contemporary singer trying to find your voice part, trying to figure out where you fit in, it's worth stating the obvious and pointing out that the lowest of bass singers probably shouldn't be singing along to Rush and U2, and that the highest, lightest sopranos might not be the best suited to sing Cher tunes. One's voice part should be an entryway into singing. It should be the best way to find a healthful place for your voice to resonate and for you to begin learning how to use your instrument. However, you shouldn't adhere so strictly to any particular voice part that you may or may not be that it would be detrimental to the overall quality of your voice or the quality of your singing. Most contemporary singers instead can just spend their time finding their unique sound, finding that sound that their particular instrument makes that sets them out from the crowd, that they can still make healthfully and continuously in order to take their instrument on the road and perform regularly. In regards to the extensions of one's range, not just in terms of the actual note range, but in terms of sounds and textures produced by the voice, you should look to voice actors for examples. Seth MacFarlane, the creator of American Dad and Family Guy, has a breadth of voices well beyond his natural baritone speaking voice. Tom Kenny, star of SpongeBob, Kevin Michael Richardson, fantastic voice actor, has a massive baritone-based voice and yet gives some of the highest, lightest performances possible simply because he's learned his instrument and learned how to use it to the fullest of its capabilities. Another great example is Mark Hamill, a man capable of playing both Luke Skywalker and the Joker, all with the same larynx. Whether you're a new singer just beginning to find your voice or an old vet trying to learn your instrument a little better, finding one's voice part can be extremely helpful in learning your best range and the sort of area you should be singing. However, you shouldn't feel restricted to this range, and you should do whatever feels healthful and fun and good when you're singing. Always take your own health into account first. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, but feel free to explore. You might even surprise yourself.